Hello, I'm Jim Lowenstern and this is The Travel Show. On this episode we're going to be in northern Italy for 1 week, driving by car to different cities, and in the next 30 minutes you're going to see a sample trip that you can take yourself that's fun and exciting. From Venice, going through the Alps and around Lake Garda, down to Bologna and Rimini, and then back north to Venice again. The first day of the tour begins in Padua, which is a short drive from the international airport outside of Venice. Padua has a free museum in the city center with, of course, fine art. I loved the excavated skeleton of a man who wanted to be buried with his horse. The Scrovegni Chapel, as seen here, is one of the most famous sites in Padua. It houses a remarkable cycle of frescoes completed in 1305 by Giotto. Outside the chapel is a statue garden of ancient as well as modern sculptures. Its courtyard is walled in by an ancient city wall. Next stop on your walking tour of Padua is the Prato della Valle, the city's elliptical square. It's one of the largest in Europe. The wide garden in the center is surrounded by a moat and lined by 78 statues portraying famous citizens of Padua. Amazing architecture, grand churches, cathedrals, piazzas, they all abound in Padua. It's a perfect city to visit on the first day when you land in Italy. Day 2 is a long day, and I recommend that you rise early. Coffee, and lots of it, is in order. You'll be combating jet lag, but believe me, it's worth getting up no later than 7:30 in the morning. It's a short drive to the Alps from Padua, but you'll be driving through the Alps pretty much the entire day. You'll be heading north through little villages marked by church towers, farmland, and hillside castles. Within an hour or two, you'll be heading into highway tunnels, cutting through the hills, and you'll see blue water mountain lakes, and then almost before you know it, you're in the Alps. The Dolomites, as they're called in Italy. You'll see snow almost any time of the year. These shots were filmed and photographed in September. Bolzano is a destination at the end of day 2. You should drive to Cortina. This quaint mountain city hosted the Winter Olympics, and from there you'll take the Ghiao Pass, one of the most picturesque scenic roads in the world. It's just one ski area linking another for miles and miles. Each moment will call for another photo stop. The bed and breakfast we stayed at was the Emmentaler. Der Emmentaler in Cardano is right off the A22 motorway, and it's located next to a mountain stream. We feasted on squid ink pasta and German-themed meatballs. It was a day that included high-altitude mountain air and the first snowball of the year. We loved every minute of it.
Hello, I'm Elena Fain, and welcome to the tour of Italy. Day 3 on our self-guided tour begins with amazing typical Italian breakfast at the Emmentaler dining room. The first stop for our day is at the Renan Earth Pyramids outside Bolzano. These natural clay spires are also known as fairy chimneys. The spires are formed from clay that becomes soft when wet, and as a result they are eroded by rain. A huge stone covering the mass protects the material below from rain. The pillars can be up to 30 meters high. The hike was not too difficult, and it offered amazing views of the countryside, complete with a herd of goats below our observation deck. The short drive took us on a roadway that winded through the hills and vineyards. Some were extremely narrow, allowing for barely 2 cars to pass each other. In Bolzano, you will be welcomed into its beautiful squares and churches, and awed by its beautiful architecture. Its castles and hills, and even its vineyards and fruit groves. In Bolzano, there are 2 attractions you definitely don't want to miss. There is a war memorial and Ozzy. Ozzy is perhaps the most amazing part of the day. His remains were found on the Swiss-Italian border by hikers when the glacier he was frozen in began to recede. Don't miss this Ozzy exhibit. It's totally fascinating. And before you leave Bolzano, please check out the vegetable and fruit stands. They're possibly the freshest fruit and vegetables to be found in Italy. After leaving Bolzano, it's a short ride south to the beautiful city of Trento. Trento is a cosmopolitan city in the Tyrol area of northern Italy, with many exterior frescoes, fountains, churches, city squares, and even a huge castle. Trento's architecture is amazing. The frescoes, the fountains, everywhere you turn in the city. There are museums and, of course, upscale shopping and city squares. We finished our day with a short sunset drive toward the town of Sirmione on the shores of Lake Garda. Enjoy an evening at Terme di Sirmione, a lovely water spa that I highly recommend. This ends day 3 of our self-guided tour of northern Italy. Look for the next episode of the traveling show, where we continue our week-long tour of Italy. I'm Elena Fain, and thank you for joining us on our tour to northern Italy. Hope to see you in our next show.